The Man in My Home by Midnight Storm.
Karley. I hid in the closet behind all the glamorous dresses Cash had bought me throughout the years. I was only 4'11", weighing 102 pounds, and could slide my body comfortably while trying not to move or breathe. Karley Diobi was my husband. 3 years of dating and 9 years of the most toxic marriage I would not want my worst enemy to experience. Cash was the mayor of Brockton, Massachusetts, with approximately 76,000 people, about the seating capacity of the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. When I met him, he was as gentle as a flower and had the heart of gold to help others. I worked for Hertz Rental Car Services as one of their regional directors, and every time he came in, he would flirt with me. It was refreshing when he finally asked me out on a date. He flew me to Oceanside, California, and we dined at a restaurant on the beach called Lighthouse Oyster Bar and Grill. The food and conversation were beyond amazing. Cash showed me the finer things in life. He opened doors, never allowed me to pay for anything, and even won my parents' hearts. Cash was a powerful black man and could get money from anyone with his smooth talk and good looks, thus how he won his second term as mayor. We had just come from a dinner party his staff in the city had thrown to celebrate his win. Cash was upset that one of the waiters was flirting with me, so he ignored me the entire night. Cash was 6'3" in height, had a skin of chocolate, brown eyes, brown wavy hair, with a smooth beard and goatee. He was a god to most, but a devil to me. We tried to have kids throughout the years, but his low sperm count only made things harder. Medication and many visits to the doctor always confirmed that there was nothing medically that could be done. With his Nigerian background and his parents wanting grandkids, it was even harder because they thought I was the infertile one, and Cash continued to allow them to think this because he was too embarrassed to tell them. One minute we talked about adoption, then the next he blamed me with his fist for his medical inability to fertilize my eggs. The sex with Cash was always amazing. He was always passionate about how he would make love to me, but as the years passed, it got worse. 6 months had gone by without affection of any kind. I did not know the last time we shared a simple hug or mumbled the words, "I love you," to each other. All the fake appearances, smiles, and fake holding of hands as if we were in love were beyond tiring. No one knew I was living in complete hell behind closed doors. He had taken me away from all my family and friends, and I felt like I was drowning in my sorrows. "Bitch!" he yelled, shouting and slurring his drunken words while closing every door in the 2-story home we shared. Cash and I bought it 3 years ago. 5,000 square feet of nothing but the finest arts, marble floors, Korean countertops, 6 bedrooms, 5 full baths, 2 studies, a gourmet kitchen, full-size great room with a black baby grand piano where some of the top pianists had come to entertain us while playing essential classical pieces like Canon in D major by Johann Pachelbel, as our guests would ballroom dance or sip on some of the finest wines imported from Italy. Our 5-car garage was filled with a 2019 Mercedes-Benz SL 450, 2022 Range Rover Sport, 1957 Ford Thunderbird, and a 2020 Lexus LS 500, which I drove. Cash came from money. His father, Chinedu, was a millionaire and got his millions by owning several oil and gas companies in Nigeria. He later moved his companies to the U.S. after he and his wife Mercy, obtained their U.S. citizenship in 1976. 2 years later, Cash was born here in Massachusetts. He attended nothing but the best private schools and universities and now served on his father's gas and oil boards. Because of his degree in political science, he decided to go into the government sector and excelled wonderfully. Throughout my marriage, I heard some of the cruelest things because I am a Caucasian woman married to a rich, successful black man. Many believed that I married only for his money, but at first, I really loved Cash for everything he did and what he stood for. Cash changed throughout the years, and according to our prenuptial agreement, I had to be married to him for 5 years or more to get anything from him in case of a divorce. This proved to everyone that it was not about the money, that I had really loved this man at one time in my life. I remained quiet, with warm tears streaming down my face while praying and asking God to give me strength. Every time I thought about leaving, I was reminded that my associate's degree in finance wouldn't get me anywhere. His highly paid attorney on retainer could make the prenup disappear, and I would be on the streets with nothing. I heard him come into our bedroom. When he got closer to the closet, I felt sweat drain down my left temple. He stood there for a few seconds before his cell phone rang. Our security guard, Luke, let him know he had secured the house and would be heading back to his home, which was the guest quarters on our property.
"Karley, I know you are in the closet. You can come out now. I am not going to hurt you,"
he said, while turning on the shower. I first hesitated, then opened the closet door, looking at him in front of me. The next thing I knew, I was on the floor, holding my face. Cash had slapped me so hard, I stumbled back and landed near the bed, almost hitting my head.
"Get over here,"
he demanded, with anger in his voice. I got up, walking slowly towards him while giving my usual apologies, even knowing I did nothing wrong. This always stroked his ego.
"Bring that cute ass over here and get in this shower with me,"
he said, while taking off his boxers. I got in the shower with Cash, enduring all his sloppy kisses.
"What's wrong?"
he asked, as if he didn't already know. His alcoholic breath was just as gross as him trying to slide his penis inside me.
"Turn over,"
he demanded again. As Cash entered me from behind, tears streamed down my face as I endured his hard, painful thrust. Within 2 minutes, he was done. He stared down at me as if he was looking at something disgusting, breathing hard like he had just run a 5K marathon. After he was done showering, I stayed in a little longer, trying to scrub all the pain and agony off me. I had to figure out a way to get my life back on track. There was no way Cash would allow me to return to work. He had me where he wanted me. I had to find my way, and it had to be sooner than later. By the time I returned to the room, Cash was fast asleep, snoring as the stale liquor manifested off his breath. I looked out our bedroom window and saw Luke looking out his. When we locked eyes, he quickly closed his blinds, and the dim light from his bedroom turned dark. Luke was an incredibly attractive man with golden brown skin. His gray eyes made the scar on the left side of his cheek unnoticeable even. His 6'4" frame and neatly locked dreads went well with his pretty white teeth. His physique and 15 years of martial arts training were the real reason Cash hired him. Luke owned his own gym, and this was how he met Cash. He had been private security to Cash and me for over 4 years. He had always kept it business with Cash. Once he's done with his assignments, you do not see or hear from him until he is needed again. The only things I knew about Luke outside the gym were that he was never married, 32, had no kids, had an MBA in business intelligence from Baker College in Owasso, Michigan, and was very private about his personal life. I continued looking out the window, hoping to see a glimpse or reflection of him, but after 10 minutes, he never returned. I got in the bed beside Cash and prayed, asking God to help me find a way out of no way.
Luke is going to stay with you for a while as I must go to Paris with my father to take care of some oil business for one of his clients. Plus, it can be a nice getaway for me. Fly up to Venice when we are done and enjoy the Grand Canal by gondola as we did on our honeymoon,
Cash said as we were getting dressed for church. When I did not say anything, he stopped clamping his right cufflink and repeated himself. I hear you, Cash. How long will you be staying, and when are you leaving? I asked.
Did you hear what I said about the boat ride?
I did hear what he said, but the thing was, I did not care. Yes, I did. I am quite sure you would love it, I said, smiling at him. Cash continued to fasten his cufflinks.
He is going to be here this afternoon. My flight leaves at 6 p.m. I have arranged for him to take you anywhere you want and always report back to me. He will be staying in the guest room, not his quarters. I do not need your cute ass running away while I am gone. I am quite sure you already know what would happen if you did,
Cash said with a devious grin. I don't have anywhere to go, Cash, I said, taking a deep breath.
Good. Keep it that way, and let us go before we are late. We must speak to the congregation today and thank them for their votes.
Great, I said, hating that I had to pretend to love him, even in the house of the Lord. Luke took his clothes up to the guest room. Cash had called me to tell me he and his dad had made it to the OWD airport, and his dad was not looking forward to the 8-hour flight. Thus, he was already complaining.
I'll give him a shot of whiskey and he'll be okay,
he said, laughing. Cash was really excited about this trip, and again, I did not care. After I ended my call with him, I went to the kitchen and pulled out some lamb chops, asparagus, and a box of mashed potatoes to cook for Luke and me. It was the least I could do since the man agreed to babysit me for an entire month. Luke came downstairs to the kitchen with me and asked,
Need any help?
Looking at him in disbelief, I said, laughing, You know how to cook? He smiled, took the lamb chops off the counter, and began to open it. I just watched him and noticed he really knew his way around the kitchen.
How do you like your lamb chops prepared? I love a good medium rare made with bakludi, green chili, olive oil, rosemary, fresh garlic, salt, pepper, and a dash of nature's seasoning topped with fresh lemon. It is perfecto,
he said, smiling. Then I guess you get right over there and get cooking, I said, as I was just as too excited about tasting it. Sitting at the kitchen table with Luke seemed weird. It had been months since anyone besides me ate at the table. Most nights I ate alone because Cash was in a board meeting with the oil and gas business, investigating some police officers for shooting or doing other mayoral duties. Once he came home, he had already eaten. The lamb chops Luke had prepared for us were the best I had tasted in years, and I have tried them many ways. Still, sitting here with another man was vastly different.
So, what do you have on the agenda this week, Mrs. Diobi?
Luke asked, interrupting my thoughts. I have to go to the elementary school on 4th Street and read to some of the first graders at 9, then lunch with the mayor of Abington's wife, Darla, at 12, then back at the elementary school to read again, And my final destination is back home to this big, boring house and life, I said, teary-eyed and now fiddling with my food. Luke got up and sat next to me.
Mrs. Diobi, why do you take his crap? I mean, you are a gorgeous woman, and yet he treats you like dirt. I am sorry if I am overstepping, but you should not take this any longer,
he said, with worry and sorrow. Where am I supposed to go, Luke? I have nothing, and my parents live on a fixed income. My mom will tell me to stay with him because he is a good provider. But I do not care about the money. Cash is powerful and knows people all over the world. I feel so trapped, like an air bubble trying to pop. I want to explore. I have no friends because he has kept me away from them. I have one checking account where he is joint on and deposits only enough money for my basic needs. So yes, this is the life he promised me, but he can have it all. Money and all. My peace and sanity are more important. Luke stared at me like he was trying to find the correct words to make it better. I began to cry like never before. It was refreshing to allow myself to release all the agony, hurt, pain, and frustration eating away at me. 2 weeks had passed, and Cash and his father was still in Paris dealing with a major oil crisis. He constantly called Luke to check on things and ask questions about my daily activities. I was extra grateful Luke did not tell him he had taken me to places like the movies, mall, and Burger King. It had been years since I had a Whopper with cheese, and it was just as good as Luke's lamb chops. Luke paid for all the extra things because Cash monitored my account. Luke and I got really close in the past few weeks. I learned so much about him. He said his gym was his pride and joy. He discussed how his grandmother raised him because his mother was murdered by her boyfriend, Jay. He was only 6 years old, and Jay came home drunk one night. He heard them arguing back and forth. When he came to the room, he caught Jay stabbing his mother on her bed. When he saw Luke, he ran after him, grabbed him by his shirt, and sliced his face. Once Luke fell, Jay left the house. Luke called 911, but it was too late for his mother. She was already dead.
This is why I have this scar on my face, and the main reason I got into martial arts. I want to protect women and children,
he said when we were on the way back to the house. We had just come from a spa day. As soon as I got inside the door, I realized I had missed 6 calls from Cash, and so did Luke. I called Cash immediately, with my heart beating a mile a minute. The call went straight to voicemail. Then I heard Luke talking to Cash, telling him everything was fine while giving me the thumbs up, letting me know I was in the clear. As soon as Luke hung up, Cash called me, asking me to go up to his study and email him a vital document he needed their client to sign.
I need this now, Karley. I forgot to print it out when I was home,
he said in a panicked tone. Where is it located? I asked as he gave me the password to sign into his computer. To my surprise, his screensaver was a picture of us on our wedding day. Those were the happy times in our marriage, I thought to myself. After Cash instructed me on how to find the document, I emailed it to him. As soon as I was about to log off, an instant message popped up from Yahoo. It was from someone named Cinnamon Swirl. At first, I hesitated to open it. Then I thought, what the hell? I read her message. I can't wait for you to get back to the room.